Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Albaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Albaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Albaugh, along with our fantastic producer, Mr. Aaron Zommers, on the board. It is 6 past the hour of 12 noon on this Friday, TGIF edition of the Todd Albaugh Show. It is April 4th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Glad to have you along to end the week. And what a show we have for you coming up in hour number 2. Your final chance to win in the Break into Spring Civic Media's Text to Win trivia It's not trivia, is it, Zommers? It's just text to win. There is no trivia.
Oh, it has not ever been trivia.
I just like to call it that. And today's prize in this show next hour, somebody's going to go home with an overnight stay to the beautiful Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells. That is up for grabs. So that at the end of today, the grand prize of the Queen Verlo mattress set, complete with a bamboo steamer. No, actually, bamboo sheets is going to be given away. Did you guys? We're going to introduce our guest in a minute, but I brought the bamboo steamer up, and many people in the audience said, "What the hell is that?" And I'm like, "Am I really that old? You guys remember the bamboo steamer?"
I do not. I do not.
All right, we'll explain later.
For dumplings?
Yes.
That, okay.
It was like on TBS,
Sure.
the afternoon during the Beverly Hills the Hillbillies repeats on the bamboo steamer. Call now, 1995. It was an infomercial.
Now, I thought you were talking about like a steamer.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's where I went too. Yeah.
We did have Lynn from Oconomowoc text in the other day when you were talking about it more in depth. And she sent some pictures of great restaurants she went to that used bamboo steamers and talked about some stuff that she's cooked with it. So not everybody didn't know what it was.
I'm not quite that old, but all right. Well, anyway, bamboo sheets and a Verlo mattress up for grabs next hour. And remember, today, Jane Matt Nair, the great colleague and host before us on her show, Matt Nair on Air, a little inside contest. We have beaten her so far in every one of these, come out on top of the network of every one of these. She is ahead of us right now. And I am told that if we lose this contest, our show, we are being banished to the afternoon time slot along with Wendy Williams and Judge Judy. So it's very, a lot's on the line here, folks. So that's coming up in hour number 2. Also, Zommers has a board game of the week as well. And a what's worse today, the question will be asking common sense or expert opinion. What's worse? But right now, we are joined by people who become friends of this show. We appreciate them so very much. We're at the world premiere of their film down in Waukesha last year. Happy to have them here in studio, and it is Sean Hanisch and also Kelly Call. Sean is one of the co-producers and director. He is a writer, director, producer in his own right and founder of Cannonball Productions. Kelly Call, one of the co-producers and former president of CBS Entertainment, helped bring hits that we all know, like Survivor and the CSI series, to the screen. And they are here to talk more about their great film, Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers. Gentlemen, welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Todd. It's great to be here in person.
Right?
Yeah.
World headquarters. First time. It's pretty cool.
It's
a nice setup, by the way.
Thank
awesome.
you. We're, it ain't CBS, but we're doing okay.
It's pretty good.
It's nice.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
How was the flight out from Los Angeles?
Well, we actually came out a few days ago.
All right.
So we came out on Tuesday. It was a lovely flight.
Good for
to be
you.
honest.
All right, very
Yeah.
nice. And you guys were at for those that yesterday we did the show down at Milwaukee again. Thanks to Chancellor Moni and all the great people at UWM for hosting us. And we had extra Civic Media tickets. So I thought, well, why not go to the game? My friends who helped set that up last night. And so we're there at the game. Brewers got a big win over the Reds, 1-0. And I post it, and Kelly's texted and says, "We were there too."
Well, we would like to take credit, by the way, for the 3-game winning streak because we were at all 3 games.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Well,
I'm worried
can you
about
stick
today.
around.
If we lose today, they're probably going to have us come back.
Yeah, we're
You
going
probably will.
Yeah.
By the way, the Brewers play this afternoon at 5:30 against the Reds. You can hear that game across Civic Media in Richland Center, Oshkosh, Racine, Kenosha, Park Falls, and now up in beautiful Hayward, Wisconsin. I was a little nervous last night that they were going to blow it at the end, but boy, the pitching has really turned around. First 4 games of the year, a little sketchy.
I mean, that was rough. I think historically rough.
Yeah.
Those first 4 games, but no, we looked good. I mean, I think the bats will eventually heat up, but
Putting that all behind us.
Yeah.
We're moving on. Moving
Yeah,
forward.
hey,
moving
we
on.
win tonight. We're 500.
Exactly.
New
exactly.
York,
Right
what?
back
Yankees,
in it.
what?
Before we get into the film a little bit, I want to be respectful and delicate here because you guys in this movie we're going to talk about here, and Zommers and I have had the privilege of seeing it. Bob Uecker plays a pretty prominent role in the narration of Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers. We lost him, of course, earlier this year. And I know you guys were honored to be a part of a private memorial service. Tell us what you can and what you're able to about that.
Well, we were honored to be invited to it the other night. It was in Milwaukee at the Miller High Life Theater, and I don't know, 600, 700 people, current players, former players, friends, people in the Brewers organization, community leaders, just kind of the mayor of Milwaukee, I think, everybody was there. It was quite a moving, touching service. With some laughs because as Bob Costas was the MC, and as he said, Bob would want us to laugh a little tonight. So there were some laughs and some tears, and Sean and I were honored because the Brewers asked us to produce the video segments that kind of aired in between the guests talking about Bob, and that was quite an honor for us.
I mean, it was to be asked to put together, the films for such a legend.
Yeah.
Was, I mean, it was obviously we felt so incredibly honored. Kind of a pinch. Can we pinch ourselves moment? Are we really being asked to take on this role? And then there was sheer terror because we were like, oh my God, we've got to finish this thing in like 7 weeks,
and we have to deliver. And it's like you can't phone that in. That's right. They got to be great.
So we put together about 25 minutes of film and essentially what were the 4 bases of his life.
Wow.
First base was his playing career. Second base was his Youth Goes to Hollywood. Third base was his broadcasting career. And home was his family, Brewers family, and all the charity work he had done.
That's wow. That's goosebumps right there. That's I can't imagine what it was like to work on that. Yes, pressure, but also just again because in your film, Just a Bit Outside, I mean, Uecker is there talking a little bit about the history, but more specifically about '82. But then to go back and really look at his entire life.
Well, it was Todd. It's really, I don't want to get woo-woo here, but we did the interview with him a couple of years ago, and he was telling us stories from his entire life, and Kelly and I would look at each other like, we got to get back to '82, and we pull him back.
It's like, Bob, this is interesting,
right.
But it became apparent, as we went and looked at all his previous interviews and Tonight Show appearances, he had a bunch of stories that were just at his disposal that he would pull out when necessary, and we got a lot of those.
And that's the thing is we were looking for something unique and something people hadn't seen before, and so we used 5 or 10 minutes of Bob in Just a Bit Outside, but we had a whole hour of stories about his life and how he'd jet off, Monday mornings to go to Hollywood to shoot Belvedere and then come back on Thursdays to do the games for the weekend, and all this texture of his life, which was just a life incredibly well lived.
Yeah.
And,
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that. So a lot of that ended up making its way into what we put together.
Our great sports reporter Mike Clemens, who's pretty well connected, and he texted me this morning, sent me something, just some of the names that he's reporting: Bob Costas, Al Michaels, Joe Torre, Pat Hughes, Ted Simmons, Ryan. The list goes on, and I'm not asking you to disclose things in that room, but just from your personal being there, it just had to be a moment to be very proud to be Wisconsinites and to see the world come into Milwaukee to honor this guy. Aside from the actor, as a fellow Wisconsinite, it had to just make you enormously proud.
I think the kind of overarching theme was Bob always came home. Sure, he went to Hollywood, but Bob always came home. He had a chance to go be the broadcaster for the Yankees, but he always came home. So he was born in Milwaukee, he passed in Milwaukee, and no matter where he went, and we tried to document all the amazing things he did in his life, Milwaukee was his home base.
Yeah. I obviously the first game that I've been to this year, and the Civic Media seats, by the way, that we give away on this show on occasion. But our Civic Media seats, they're on the third base side, and you can see right into the Brewers dugout, they're right below the sky boxes. It has a great view right into the booth where Uke sat. And it was a little surreal last night, I'll be honest, to look, because I took my sister and brother-in-law to the game last year. I didn't know this. It was my sister's first Brewers game, and it was one where Uke was calling the game, and she got a photo of him. And when he passed, she said, "I can't thank you enough. I got to see him in that seat." And to look over last night, like Lane Grindle called the game, and to see Uke's picture up behind there, I mean, it was a goosebump.
I mean, I will say the outpouring of affection for him, I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that. All the guests, the people in the audience, it was a lovely and fitting memorial.
Well, his memory will live on in every single Milwaukee Brewer game. It will live on in this film. And, guys like Pat Hughes, I mean, when I first started radio back in Richland Center, one of the original Brewers affiliates, they still are. And it was Bob Hughes and Bob Uecker and Pat Hughes. And, I never like to copy anything in my little broadcasting life, but there are elements of both of those guys that you can kind of take and you learn. And I just think that pairing, Uecker and Hughes, for my money, that was the best pairing in Brewers broadcast history.
I don't think you're going to get any argument from
Yeah. I'm not nothing to take away.
Yeah.
Like,
I might. I mean,
Jeff
he
Levering.
was great with Merle Harmon. And,
okay, the Merle. I remember, the Merle Harmon pairing early on.
See, I don't remember that. I mean,
We're old,
no,
yeah.
you're like 3 years older than me, for God's sake. No, you guys were just you're smarter and more tuned to sports probably at a younger age. I don't know, or broadcasting.
We got addicted too early.
and look at Levering and Grindle now. I mean, those guys are fantastic.
They're great.
Yeah, absolutely. This film is great, and we got about a minute here before the first break, and then we're going to come back and talk more about it. It not premieres, but it's being shown tonight as part of the Wisconsin Film Festival, 5:30 at Music Hall at the UW-Madison campus. Sold out?
Sold out, but there are rush tickets available.
Really?
Yes, there are some rush tickets available. So
have to buy at the box office or go online?
I believe you go to the theater or to the box office. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but if you go to Wisconsin Film Festival website, they'll let you know.
Zommers will put that up. I think it's what is it, Zommers? wifilm.org or something. We did it earlier for John Roach.
I believe it was wifilmfest.org. I'll double check.
The Zommers will figure it out during the break, and we'll have that up on the screen. Rush, don't walk. If you're able to get tickets tonight, we'll come back and talk about this. And if you can't get there tonight, exciting new news how we can watch it at home. We'll come back and tell you that. It's the Todd Albaugh Show on a Friday on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Yes, it is wifilmfest.org.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys.
When was Roach in?
Wednesday, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
She was talking about Aurora Night.
Yeah, we did a half an hour and played the trailer.
It's great. So we since we got sold, we were sold out, so we know them. And what's Hamill's first name? George Hamill. Helped with our last film, and is a great guy and a friend. And so we've been trying to help pump theirs too.
Yeah.
It's not an easy watch. It's hard.
He sent it to me.
Yeah.
And gave me the password. And I was anchoring election stuff on Tuesday. It's just kind of crazy. But I said on the air to him, I said, I'm waiting until Sunday because I know people whose kids went to school with Howard's kids, and it's just, and it was good because it was a good discussion. He goes, "You're not the first person to tell me that," and he said, "I would just say there is hope in it."
Yeah.
And so it's not all just.
There is. I mean, the end is like, the swell and all that, but it's tough. Yeah. But it's great. It's really good. I think we're trying to go Sunday.
Yeah,
too.
we're to go Sunday. So I
I'll
have
be
not.
there too.
Are you? I have not seen it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm waiting.
But yeah, me too. Me too.
So it's on wifilmfest.org, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Wisconsin voters
Verify
spoke
what's
loud
written
and
here
clear,
is
saying
correct.
we cannot be bought. Find all of Dan's work at the recombobulation area.
All right.
Oh, you had an exciting Tuesday here.
Yeah, right. It was. I was surprised it was called that quick. But
It really was.
yeah. So
If I got one text, I got 3 dozen from friends around the country being like, Wisconsin did it.
Way to go,
20 seconds.
Wisconsin.
I got texts from friends, a couple even in Europe. And
wow.
they're like, we're watching.
10 seconds.
Thank you. Civic Media Radio Network. 21 now, past the hour of 12 noon on Friday, April 4th, 2025. The Wisconsin Film Festival kicked off yesterday here in Madison, Wisconsin. Runs through the weekend, right, Zommers? Actually, through the 10th, actually, April 3rd through the 10th. One of the great films being featured tonight. You know it, you love it. Just a bit outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers will be shown tonight at 5:30 at Music Hall on the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus. Rush tickets are still available. Check them out, or check it out if you can get one. You'll do yourself a favor. You could do that at WI Film Fest, all one word, all together, wifilmfest.org, wifilmfest.org. We have two of the co-producers and the director of the fine film. It is Sean Hanish and Kelly Call here with us in the studio. Guys, let's just get right to the big announcement, because here we have it in our hot little hands, courtesy of Sean and Kelly here. This is the DVD, and every time I talk about this film, and Zommer's going to test, I talk about it a lot. We get angry texts at one point. Okay, I didn't get to see it. When are we going to get to see it at home? So this took a little heat off, and then we got snarky people that, well, I don't have a DVD player. When is it going to stream? So can you guys help me out and get some of these people off my back and give us some great news?
I'd like to say first, there was always a plan. It took a little longer than we wanted because, we're not Universal, we're not Warner Brothers. We're just, we're two guys who made a movie and we're trying to negotiate the media world.
This is truly self-distributed. We distributed it with Marcus Theaters, and then, some other, towns in Baraboo and whatnot came calling. And it took a minute. But we got the DVD out,
and people did ask for the DVD. Like, people really wanted to, I think, just have it in their hands.
Me.
exactly.
Of course, then you've got the other maybe more tech savvy people who are like, DVDs, right? Come on,
I know.
So we caught that grief too.
But we were able to, and this is so exciting for us as filmmakers. I think it's exciting for people who've seen the movie or not seen the movie. Is we're going to be available 1 week from today, April 11th, on the Roku channel.
There we go.
Throughout North America,
wow,
the UK, and Mexico.
Really?
Yes. We did Spanish subtitles.
No way.
No, we did, for real.
That's super cool.
So we're going to be, we're going to be everywhere on the Roku channel. And here's the best part. It's free.
Wow.
Yes.
Anyone can see it. If you have like the Roku operating system, it's kind of seamless. If you don't have that, you can go online and just go to the Roku, search the Roku channel. Wow. Anybody can get that.
You don't have to have that stick or whatever it is.
No. You don't have to have the stick.
Really?
You can get it on your phone or your tablet or your laptop.
Good
and
gosh.
probably beam it to your TV and see it on a nice big screen.
That's super cool.
We're so excited for people to see. I mean, you were able to see it here in the state for about 8 weeks, which was extraordinary. I mean, way beyond our expectations. Happy to have the DVD out. But even we have a lot of friends who are like, I don't know that I own one anymore.
I find that fascinating because I got a new TV, I don't know, 2-3 years ago at the most, a Sony, whatever, nicer TV, and a 50-inch or 55, whatever it was, and I got a 4K DVD player, and it wasn't like it was archaic.
Right. I know. I mean, I have a DVD collection, so I still have my DVD.
Me too.
Right. But this whole, I mean, everybody can see it. And I mean, that's what you want as filmmakers. And we're so proud of the movie.
So talk us through the process just a little bit here. About 3 or 4 minutes before we have to go to break. But do you guys have to personally negotiate with is Roku, or is there a parent company of Roku, or like what? Just take us through the process. I find it fascinating.
Well, I mean, really, Kelly, you can speak to this more because you were kind of the point there.
Yeah, David Eilenberg, terrific guy and a friend of mine from CBS days. He worked at ITV. He left to be the head of content for Roku, and he is just a person I really respected, who had made documentaries and what I considered to be really good taste in terms of entertainment. I asked him to just to look at Just a Bit Outside, just to put eyes on it and see what he thought. So he watched it, got back to me and said, A, this is really good, and B, we'd be really interested in putting it on Roku.
Wow.
And then not just that, but we like it so much we'll actually promote it.
Wow.
So it's there's so much content out in the world right now that, it's great if Amazon or maybe Netflix, buys your project, but if they just put it on without doing anything to support it, then you're just, you're shouting out in the wilderness to yourself. So to have Roku who has a huge reach, for them to say, we'll promote it, we'll put it on the homepage or the carousel, that means the world to us. That means people will get to see it. And the other thing I think we know now is, people like it.
Right.
We're betting 1,000. We're betting 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I wanted to say there's a mistake here. It says 99% Rotten Tomatoes rating. Actually, after we did this, it went back up to 100.
Oh my gosh, really?
Which is, I mean,
we found the one person who dinged us and who took care of it.
That's right. So be careful out there.
It's probably just a salty Cardinals fan.
Probably.
Probably. Right?
Yeah.
Just, because they kind of come out as if there's a villain in this film, it's the St. Louis Cardinals.
I mean, yeah, without question. We've had Cardinal fans who've watched this movie and they're like, by the end, I'm rooting for the Brewers. So
why wouldn't you?
Why
right?
wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. A couple minutes here before the break, we're talking with Sean Hanish and Kelly Call, the director, producer, and co-producer of the film, respectively, just a bit outside the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, which we just learned it will be streaming for free on Roku a week from today on April 11th. I cannot wait. Talk in the minute and a half or so, 2 minutes we have left here, guys, about what this means to you, because I'm very, very partisan or biased here when I saw the film. I'm a Brewers fan, and I fall in love with you guys personally. But to have all these other people that don't know you, that might not know the Brewers, to have, how rare is it to have a 99 or 100% Rotten Tomato? I don't know any other film like that, any other project.
Honestly, that one, I'm incredibly humbled by, because I don't know when 100% of people have agreed on anything ever in the history of human civilization.
Yeah,
I mean,
right,
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, it's a pinch ourselves moment, because, I think there's something. What I think the film does, and I think during this time in our culture, and what we're living through right now, is it brings people together.
Yes,
it is not political, but I actually think it's political because it's the act of bringing community together.
Wow. Well said.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Kelly?
Well,
saved by the bell.
After the break.
Saved by the bell.
I was going to have to say something profound there. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
saved.
Save it. We'll come back. Kelly Call and Sean Hanish talking about their great new film just a bit outside the story of the 82 Brewers. You can see it tonight if you hurry at 5:30 and on campus here in Madison. Come on back after the Ag Update on Civic Media.
You guys sick of that song yet?
I kind of wanted to hear the Ag Update. That was
well, you can't. Well,
Conversation on
Pam
social
Yonke
media.
on.
Is this like Pork Belly Futures?
Yes.
Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
John Sparrow from the Femmes came to the premiere, which was really neat. Yeah. Like I saw this guy hanging out, and I'm like, I didn't meet him till afterward.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hi, I'm Kelly. He said, I'm John Sparrow, with the drummer of the Violet Femmes. I'm like, dude, why didn't you say something?
Wow. That's incredible.
He's become a super fan. And that night after the premiere, he got to meet Charlie Moore. And then when the Femmes went down to Birmingham, he got Charlie Moore backstage passes. And there's a great photo on John's social media that has the three of them and Charlie Moore.
Wow.
Yes.
He's a fox. That's
such a fox.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
On Facebook, Matt says, can you clarify? The website says tickets are rush only. This means first come, first served, and no pre-sales, right? Should people still try to come tonight?
Get in touch
I
with
don't know
them
what rush
at
only. I mean, I knew they were rush only.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Matt, I know Matt. We used to work together in the Capitol.
I mean, yeah, when I looked on the website earlier today to double check, it said that you couldn't buy any online, but that they would have some available, like you said, Matt,
available.
A limited amount available on a first come, first served basis in person.
Well, if you don't get tickets, Sean and I will talk to you about the movie afterwards.
Right, come out for a beer, Matt, afterwards.
Or maybe we'll bring some DVDs. And we'll give you a DVD.
What that might mean is they wait until about 10 minutes before the film to see if there are empty seats.
Oh, right.
Probably.
And then
That's what I'm guessing.
Boom, 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 fill them in.
Yeah. So come at your own risk.
That's
as they
the
say.
rush
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
If you're in Madison, there's
Yeah.
very little risk. But if you're driving from
Right.
2 hours away,
Yeah.
Just watch it on Roku. Just
Meat Products Competition, recognizing the quality that started more than 60 years ago with Fred Bull. Bavaria sauce.
I don't see. I'm trying to find a
Shop those
number here we could call,
award-winning
but
meats today at the
I don't
corner
see
of
an
Benefit
actual
Road,
number.
Fitzroy
Do you wanna-
Road in Fitchburg.
Should we try
Monday
texting
through
the?
Friday,
Was
9
it Ben or?
I'll text Ben.
Saturday
Yeah,
9
okay.
until 1, or always open online. BavariaSausage.com.
Welcome back.
Did
Midday
you say
on a
sausage.com?
Friday.
Yes,
Farmers Market
absolutely.
Are posting another round of sharp losses. Contracts are roughly 30 cents lower following an overnight Chinese response to tariffs.
walked
China
into-
slapped
we
a
were coming back from the
retaliatory
game last night.
34% on U.S. imports.
Weaving our way through
April
downtown
10th.
where we were
Cash
staying,
soybeans are down
and
30.5 cents at
we have to stop for a
9.81
fire
bushel.
truck. There's a
November
firehouse, and the
crop
fire
beans
truck's
down
coming and going. We
28
look
cents
to
at
the
9.89
right,
a bushel. The corn
and we
market
see
is
what was
not
the name of
as
the place?
shaken. Cash
Oh,
corn is up
the
a
bar
penny
last
and a
night?
quarter at 4.58
Stella's.
Stella's.
Oh my God.
And we see it's like got the old classic old style sign outside. It just looks like a house, but meanwhile it's kind of downtown. And, we're like, we're parking the car and going in here. And we go in, and kind of a full bar, and the woman's like, "Hey guys, welcome." And she's like, "Would you like a 99-cent drink?" And I'm like, "What is the catch here?"
Enjoying this local program.
And she's like,
Find
"No,
the complete
everything's
Civic Media
99
lineup
cents
at
right now."
civicmedia.us
So we get like two. I'm like, "All
or
right,
the
Jack and
Civic
Coke."
Media
We
app.
get 2 double Jack and Cokes for like $1.98.
No.
And I'm like, only in Wisconsin.
wow.
And then we found out it was like they have from 9 to 9:15 every night is like rush happy hour,
Oh my God.
and everything's like 99 cents.
That's
It was
fantastic.
insane.
That's really cool.
Taxes.
It's just like telling him, it's like,
now taxes.
you know, you
is
think it's like
relaxing
the
when you
most
file for
awesome
free.
bar discovery ever, but
Right.
it's just a bar in Milwaukee, you know. They're all great. They're all cool.
Qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file.
All right, we'll come back and we'll let you talk a little for a minute on the rating, whatever you want to say on that. Then we can actually talk, just for those that might not know, a little bit about the actual film again, just remind people of the highlights. And then maybe just spend a couple minutes, if you guys don't mind, just on media in general these days. And then I have some silliness to round things out. We'll let you guys go at 10 till.
Maybe we do a little reset on the premise.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Whether you're looking for a
coming tonight?
starter home
Yes, yeah. I've had tickets for a while. We gave away a pair to
Oh, that's
listeners on
That's why
Monday.
people can't get tickets, because Top
off
bought
the
them all.
mall. Cut.
Welcome back to the Town Hall Ball Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 34 minutes now past the hour of 12 noon on a TGIF edition, April 4th, 2025. Glad to have you along. What a great way to round out the week and end the show here. Talking, that's some music, by the way, from the new film, Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, of course, released here in Wisconsin and other places across the nation last fall, and now on DVD right here. Go to Amazon and get this fine film on DVD, and tonight it'll be shown at the Music Hall on UW-Madison's campus at 5:30. Maybe it was my exuberance, guys, for wanting people to see this film, because there are quote-unquote rush tickets available. I had a couple of questions, Matt, on Facebook, and a couple other people over the break. Todd, we were trying to go online and find them, and it says not available. So we're trying to get clarification before the end of the show. And I think probably what we've come to, guys, is they're probably maybe going to wait and see who doesn't show up. But if there's empty seats, you probably have to be there in person. So don't drive 2 hours to come tonight if you don't have tickets. But if you're in town, you could do that.
I think so. We are trying to get clarification on that.
All right. So we're doing that. The film, though, is going to be released, we find out now, in a week for free on Roku. You can stream it, and here joining us to talk more about it are two of the two guys that are mainly responsible for this great film. Sean Hanish, one of the co-producers and director of the film. He is also the founder of Cannonball Productions, a writer, director, producer, and Kelly Call, one of the other co-producers, formerly the president of CBS Entertainment, and helped bring great shows like CSI, NCIS, and Survivor to the great CBS network and kept it #1 for a long. I was watching. I still watch it, and it was on the other night. It was the promo was something that's never happened.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah, I saw the clip.
And it was. I watched it, and it was very emotional. One of the contestants has autism, and she had bonded with this guy from another tribe, and she kind of freaked out during one of the competitions. And the guy came over from the other tribe to console her. And she started explaining her story to everybody in the cast, and Jeff got very emotional and started crying.
Yeah, I have a son on the spectrum, and that was like, twist the knife. That was like that was something. And I see Jeff. He actually wrote a thing. I think he submitted something to Variety, a note about it, and that kind of a lot of moments have happened on 20+ seasons of Survivor, and they've never had anything like remotely like that happen.
But it's just after all these years, something new is still happening on that show, and it's still pertinent. It's still a lot of fun to watch. So is this great new movie. Just a bit outside before the break, I cut Kelly off here. We were up against a hard break, talking about the fact that this film, when it went to DVD, had a 99% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And for those that might not know what that is, it's basically an online where fans, it's not necessarily film critics, but actual people go in.
It's both, but.
Is it? Well, all right. Well, it shows. See, Zombers is smarter about film than I am. But isn't it mostly real people doing this?
This is actually the audience rating that we're referencing. So this is the non-critic rating. So we're
and you're at 100%.
But the critic rating, we're also there aren't a lot of them, but what there is there is very good.
There aren't enough to give us an official score, but the ones that are on there are all like certified fresh.
So Kelly, I cut you off before the break. What did you want to say about what does this mean to you as filmmakers to have real people saying almost to the T, this film was fantastic?
I was going to say it means more. It's real people. It's critics. That's their job. But for people who spent $20 to buy a ticket to go, actually get off their couches, get in the car, and go to a theater and see this. And I don't know, we had 25,000 maybe people in Wisconsin come see it.
Yeah,
it went during our run.
Amazing.
And then take the time to go online and write a review. And then just the people we've met along the way who said how much it touched them or took them back. We talk about it as a time machine. You sit down and start watching, and you're going back to '82 for a couple hours, and it's kind of neat.
So for those that might not have heard about this film, last fall there was a little thing going on called a presidential election. So people might have been preoccupied. A lot of people, as you guys know, just said, I'm not turning on the TV, the radio. I'm tuning out because I just don't want to hear about everything going on. So I'm sure there are people who aren't familiar with a film now that's going to be released free on Roku next week. Help us understand, if you two will, set up the premise and why you did this film.
Well, we made the film because, we went through this incredible journey with a unique group of baseball players, a group that really reflected the city and the state. They went out and drank beer in the parking lots after games. You could really identify. They were like the lunch pail guys. Work hard, play hard, which is, I think, kind of a Wisconsin motto anyway. Yeah. And so, we identified with Gorman Thomas, and there was a lot of facial hair.
but also big personalities.
Yeah. Right?
These guys were not shrinking violets.
No, and it turns out, we had 5 players on that team went to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So extraordinary players, huge characters. And I think the thing that really struck us was, well, first of all, the season lays out like you couldn't write a script any better. And, the ups and the downs, you come up with high expectations after making the playoffs for the first time in 1981. You fall flat. The team fell flat on their face the first 40 games. And then you fire the manager, and you bring in the hitting coach to become the manager.
Who's almost a cartoon character. Harvey Keen with a prosthesis
prosthetic
leg.
It was a one leg.
I mean, a chew. Every picture you see of him, he's got a wad of chew in his cheek like Popeye.
And he lived over a bar. I mean, that the players would come to, and as Robin says, either have a really late dinner or a really early breakfast. They hung out. They were family. And and then they go on this rocket ship ride and win so many games that summer, go from almost last place to first place, and then trying to clinch it that last weekend in Baltimore and losing the first 3 and having to win on the last day of the season. Going out to California, losing the first 2 and having to come back and win the next 3 at home to go to the World Series.
Well, we should say they celebrated so much after getting into the playoffs and beating Baltimore. As Ted said, they had a Game 7 celebration just to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then immediately go out to Anaheim with no rest and probably suffered the consequences of having too much fun.
There was a lot of champagne on the flight.
Yeah.
And I think they were up pretty late. I mean, Paul Molitor says, I don't know, it may have been a literal hangover.
Right.
And then, but then the ups and downs of that lesson, of course, we all know, we were ahead and going to the bottom of the 6th inning of the 7th game and lost it. And then I think really looking back at it, the thing that really makes the movie and made that season so incredibly special, it was already so special, was that the team, when it's at its lowest moment, the city and the state, they show up. And the next morning, throw them a parade of what some said were 1 million people in the streets. For the team that lost the World Series the night before, that doesn't happen anywhere except Milwaukee and Wisconsin. And I think that's why this is a love letter to the state and to the Brewers fans and to the city of Milwaukee. I mean, I think that's why the bond still exists to this day, because the city was down and the team lifted them up. And when the team was down, the city lifted them up. And that's something you never forget.
Kelly, to me, I've seen this film like 3 or 4 times now. And for those that might not say, well, I'm not a sports fan. This sounds like a sports movie. And of course, yes, it has to do with a sport. But to me, the fact that you guys chose not to have the Morgan Freeman narrator, that this is narrated by the people who were there, and it makes it so much more personal.
That was kind of our goal. We didn't know if we could do it until maybe the first few interviews. The guys really, remembered so many things so well, or if they didn't remember, between all of them, they were able to essentially narrate the season for us. Each remembered parts here and there, and we were able to stitch together a narrative that really told the story. And then we had help from some great archival footage from some news stations. But yeah, we don't have to tell the audience what to think. The players do. Yeah. And I know we were very proud and just thought it was much more effective than having the voice of God narrator telling you, in the 4th game this happened. We didn't have to do that.
Yeah, and I think it does something psychologically as a viewer. It brings you closer.
Agreed. 100%.
The narrator can sometimes, I'm telling you what to think now, Todd. Yeah. No, we're just going to live with these guys as if we're in the room with them, hearing their stories together. I think, that was, I think, a decision that really worked. I think another one, and it kind of came later, was that we wanted to use music just from that era.
Yes. 100% music. The music Zomer's been playing, going
and local music,
right?
So it's Milwaukee and Madison bands.
Yeah.
Well, we would have loved to use AC/DC, and then the first cut we had all sorts of great music, but it was like, we're 2 guys and we can't afford that. So our genius music supervisor, Don DeBastone, went down a little rabbit hole and it reminded me that there was kind of a cool punk scene and alt scene going on in both Milwaukee and Madison, and pulled up, I don't know what he pulled up, 30, 40 songs
at least, and said,
hey guys, I dug this, listen to some of this, some of these could fit. And we started listening and was like, my gosh, these songs are great.
They subbed, we had, you temp contemporary music, right? But we put these in, and it gave a real texture, a unique, and it became uniquely like, oh, this is Just a Bit Outside. This is 1980. This is the early 80s in Milwaukee.
Yes,
you
yes.
know,
It sounded Milwaukee. If I could use the
There's a
phrase.
band. I managed a bar here when I was in school, and one of the bands that I really liked that played the bar a lot, we were able to pull up their music and put one of their songs in. And it was like that was weird full circle moment, but it was really neat to put it in.
And you know, we knew we wanted one song we knew we had to have, and that was Blister in the Sun from the Violent Femmes. Fortunately, they're all Brewer fans. But they wrote that album, that first amazing, iconic album, that summer of '82. And so they were fortunate, and we were fortunate that they allowed us to have the song in the film.
About 3.5 minutes left here, guys. I could talk to you guys about this all day, and we're not even drinking beer. Give us about a minute, if you can, on each on media today. And I know I texted you, Kelly, a little bit. Fox News now is outpulling even broadcast. And to your earlier point, Sean, we're so fractured. And I guess not so much media today, but as this movie relates to media today, the part of the magic and impressiveness for me is that it's cut through all of that to bring people together.
Wokeness has become a lightning bolt or, don't touch word. But, and it was funny, this was actually a pretty diverse team.
Yeah.
And when we mentioned it to one or two of them, they were like, oh, don't come around using diversity with us. But they were, North, South, black, white. They had a code amongst themselves. They could all joke around together, but nobody from the outside could go, nobody could make fun of them. And they had some bar scraps because of that. But it's just people from different walks of life coming together with a common goal. And that's what they did. They came up a little short. They were just a bit outside. But, to this day, that bond is still there with these guys. And the last thing I want to say real quickly is, if you know the story or don't know the story, what we've been amazed at is the movie plays equally well. You may know the story, what's coming, but you may not. My mother-in-law watched it, and she turned around and she's like, "What do you mean they lost?" She had no idea, but she's still crying at the end.
Yeah, all right, Sean.
I think in today's media landscape, they talk about the atomization of the audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've all there are a million ways to see and experience a thing. One thing that does for people who are creating films, or I hate using the term content, but creating these types of pieces, is that you can find your niche. And if you can really, if you can get on places like the Todd Albaugh Show, but if you can reach that audience and really talk to them, and that's through social media.
Yeah.
We didn't have an advertising budget, and through talking to the right people and getting the word out there, people can find your piece, and then word of mouth happens, and that's still the greatest form of advertising that exists.
Oh, and a big shout out to Mark, your PR guy here in Wisconsin. He's done a great job as well.
Yeah.
So you're fantastic, guys. Thanks for sharing time with us again. Sean Hanish, Kelly Call. The movie is Just a Bit Outside. You can see it, rush tickets tonight in Madison, but more so streaming for free on Roku a week from today. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you for all the support, man. You've been great.
You guys are fantastic. Come on back. It's the Todd Albaugh Show on Pacific Media Radio Network.
Great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government by and for the people. With a vote on the SAVE Act imminent in the U.S. House, secretaries of state, pro-voter groups, and election officials are voicing alarm at likely widespread disenfranchisement of eligible voters and an unfunded mandate by Congress. The Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act sponsor seeks to keep foreign nationals from voting in federal elections, already illegal, but without any evidence of widespread non-citizen voting in any state. It will, however, keep eligible Americans from voting. It mandates proof of citizenship to register or when updating records, but limits that proof to a birth certificate, U.S. passport, or naturalization papers. 9% of Americans don't have those documents readily available, and because they have to be presented in person, working Americans, seniors, and the disabled will all be impacted. Even with a birth certificate, 69 million married women changed their name upon marriage, and 146 million Americans don't own a valid passport, according to the Center for American Progress. The group Declaration for American Democracy just submitted a letter citing its impact on rural voters, voters of color, women, and victims of natural disasters. Election officials convened by Issue 1 cited criminal penalties for errors and the unfunded cost to implement it. 14 secretaries of state and counting now oppose the bill. We've linked to more at AmericanDemocracyMinute.org.
You can support animals in need in our community when you shop at Dane County Humane Society's thrift stores. Thrift Store West on Watts Road and Thrift Store East on High Crossing Boulevard. Shop gently used and new clothing and accessories, home goods, toys, furniture.
Wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Town Hall Ball Show, the Civic Media Radio Network. It is 9 before the hour of 1 o'clock. Now that Summers right there, that's what you want on every show. A couple of guys like Sean Hanish and Kelly Call, great guests, great people, and their film is fantastic as well. Many thanks to Kelly Call and Sean Hanish for coming in the studio.
Yes, it was very cool. I know you've met them in person
Yeah.
before, but it was very cool for me to finally meet them.
No, they're just the nicest people in the world. A couple of Wisconsin guys. We didn't get to it in this interview, but they grew up in Burlington. Kelly was in Burlington, and Sean in Brookfield. So a couple of Wisconsin guys who end up making good on their dreams, not just for this film, but otherwise. And it's great to have them here. So many thanks to them. Again, the film is just a bit outside the store of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers. You can buy it on DVD on Amazon right now, and starting 1 week from today, you'll be able to stream it for free on Roku. So be aware of that. Absolutely fantastic. All right, Summers. I was going to do this earlier. We kind of did it over the break a little bit with Kelly and Sean. A lot of people have been asking because I've had this mug since 1988, when I first visited the CBS studios in Manhattan. And about a month ago, I was taking some stuff off the old desk here in the studio, and this mug, this CBS mug, fell off and shattered.
It was behind a stack of, papers and Todd's laptop and everything, and he picked it up, didn't see it, and boom.
Boom, gone. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've had this since '87. It was with me when I did my original radio gig at WRCO Richland Center for 17 years. It went with me to Platteville. By the way, my former broadcasting partner, Kevin O'Connor, was on the show yesterday. We're going to have him back, by the way. Already talked to Kev.
Excellent.
It was down there at Platteville with me when I did broadcasting there. I've moved it all kinds of times, saved it, brought it to Civic Media, and I thought gone. But no. I went to eBay, the amazing eBay, and now arriving, and here's the official unboxing, although I kind of opened it up over the break a little bit. Here's the box unboxing. A little note for the person I bought it from. Very nice. Says, Todd, dear Todd, thank you kindly for your purchase. The signature there. That's fantastic. And then this is, I don't know what this is. This is like a crocheted little thing. I'm not sure what that
We'll
is.
have to look at that later. See.
Yeah,
what the
look at
heck
that
it is.
later. But here now, the official, for those watching the stream, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, X, came in this nice box, packaged very, very nicely, by the way. Had a bulldog on the outside. I'm not sure what all that's about. But here we go. Unpackaged it. Yep. Look at this. Wrapped up very nicely. And look at that. It is the original CBS mug. And Kelly Call, who was here, of course, president of CBS for a long time, he said that's like the original typeset and the original logo. So, and it's in great condition. It's absolutely great condition. So there you go. The old CBS mug is back on the desk here. We'll see how long that lasts.
Oh, will you still keep the old shattered one?
I think just for posterity, maybe I'll super glue it and use it like as a cup for pens or something. I
Yeah,
don't
that
know.
would be good.
Just kind of keep it around. So there you go. If anybody wants to call or text memories of the Milwaukee Brewers from 1982, got a couple minutes before the top of the hour. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842.
We did get a text from Terry in Cross Plains who asks, did Bob Uecker, did Bob Uecker have a chance to see the film before he passed? And what was his impression of it? I think it would have been really difficult for him to see. Same with Robin Yount. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Everybody who was still alive at the time the movie released last September from the team got to see it.
Yeah. And
for some of them, it was difficult, but they loved it, and they loved getting to see it and watch it together and relive that.
Yeah, and I didn't ask Kelly. That would have been a good question for me to ask while they were here. I do know that Uecker got to see it. I'm assuming he enjoyed it, but yes, Uecker did get to see the film before his passing, and he really tried to make the premiere in Waukesha that we were at last year. I was hoping to get to see him, to get to meet him. I never did, and he waited till the very last minute. And Kelly and Sean, obviously, at that point, I think they knew what was going on. But like other people, you got a very, very small group of people that he disclosed his lung cancer diagnosis to, and everybody kept their word. And because Uecker just said, I don't want to make it about that. 855-752-4842. Let's go to Eric listening on WAUK in Milwaukee. Eric, thanks for calling in. What say you?
Yes, I saw the movie a few months back, and I took my father-in-law to see it, who never likes anything. At the end of the movie, he goes, "That was great."
Wow.
So he's an old baseball fan.
Yeah.
And 3 lines from the movie that I really liked. One funny one was the gal who said how hot Charlie Moore was, which I thought was hilarious. And the most profound one was Robin Yount at the end, where he was talking with Ozzie Smith, and he goes, "You don't understand. You didn't win." And I just thought that was great.
Yeah. Yeah. You're so right about that, Eric, that there are, and that's part of the magic of the film for me, is that when Kelly first told me about it, and I hadn't seen it yet, and he said, you're going to tear up. And I thought, really? And really, and yeah, I did. I had tears at one point towards the end of the movie, but I also laughed really, really hard. So this roller coaster of emotions that the film Just a Bit Outside takes you on is amazing. And thank you, because it's interesting to hear someone else like yourself, your dad or whomever, talk about it. Really appreciate it, Eric. Have you gotten the DVD yet? All right, Eric's gone. Very good. 855-752-4842. Up against the news here. Going to do a little news update from CBS or ABC News, and then come on back. Our final text to win contest. Somebody next hour is going to win a overnight stay to Chula Vista Resort. It might as well be you. Come on back. It's the Civic Media's Todd Albaugh Show right here on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Madison, real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX. Rational Revolution with Mark Becker.
This week on The Revolution, we've got my friend and former 8th District Secretary for the Republicans, Tracy Mangold. And we're going to do a recap of the election that happened earlier this week.
Rational Revolution with Mark Becker. Saturdays at 2, Sundays at 1. The John and Gordy Show.
Let's
go. The one thing that we have to figure out, Todd and I already both have this.
But I'm going to share with a family member.
Oh, me too. Me too.
That was very nice. Yeah, it was very nice.
Comments about empathy
All
being the weakness
Right
of
back.
the West. It's because we're too empathetic. We actually care about people. I mean, what's wrong with us, right?
Yeah. Weekday mornings 6 till 8 on 92.7 WMDX and the Civic Media app. This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us. This is 92.7 WMDX Columbus, Madison's home for real news and great conversation. A Civic Media station.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. Higher tariffs will be working their way through our economy and are likely to raise inflation in coming quarters.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell saying what investors and markets don't want to hear but are clearly bracing for. Stocks are plunging for another day. The Dow is down 1,700. S&P and NASDAQ each down 4 to 5%. China reciprocating.
The fact that China is now answering back with hefty tariffs of its own, 34%, is really just the tip of the iceberg because we haven't heard from other countries. How are they going to react to these tariffs? And this just really heats up the early days of the trade war.
ABC News business correspondent Alexis Christoforous. Now 607 confirmed measles cases across 21 states. According to the CDC, it's more than double the number of cases for all of last year. 97% are unvaccinated. This is ABC News.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Madison is making progress on housing supply. The city now has a housing tracker. It shows that 118 new homes were added to Madison's housing supply in March. So far this year, the city has more than 450 new housing units. Staff say once the weather warms up, that should pick up the pace. 4,200 units are currently under construction. When it comes to housing that's considered affordable, 68 units have been added so far in 2025, and more than 800 are currently under construction. City officials are planning to add 15,000 homes by 2030 in order to keep up with projected population growth. A quarter of those will be considered affordable. And someone seems to be impersonating a Wisconsin comedian online, scamming his fans out of money. Joanne Krulotz has more.
Fox 6 Milwaukee reports that Charlie Barron's, known for his routines and online videos with a lighthearted take on Wisconsin life, has been trying to stop people using his identity to trick people out of money. In one case, a woman was scammed for $500, supposedly to get backstage access to one of his shows. Barron says the character he plays online might ask you for a ride to Culver's or Brandy Old Fashioned, but not money. He also is worried about people using AI to fake his likeness in a scam, saying there's more regulations to make a bratwurst than to use AI.
And the Dane County Farmers Market on the Square is coming back. Organizers announced next Saturday, April 12th, will be the first farmers market back on the Capitol Square. That makes tomorrow the final late winter market at Garver Feed Mill. 130 vendors will surround the Capitol selling everything from meat to flowers and, of course, cheese in the largest producers-only farmers market in the nation. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. This is 92.7 WMDX News.
Another record for Giannis. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Bucks beat the 76ers 126-113. Giannis Antetokounmpo becoming the first player in NBA history to score 35 points, 17 rebounds, and a career-high 20 assists in a single game. Bucks teammate Pat Connaughton.
There's not a whole lot of things on the basketball court that you can say Giannis has never done before. And to see him do 35, 17 rebounds and 20 assists on a night where we needed a win.
Giannis says it was a team effort.
The way we ran the floor was good. The way we were able to get stops. When we don't get stops, we're not that good.
Baseball, the Brewers with a 1-0 win over the Reds in Milwaukee.
We're not on all cylinders by any stretch of the imagination. We got some great hitters, some all-star players that aren't in their midseason form. I hope they trust it. I hope they trust it. That they'll get there, but we're just
some news. Nintendo, their next console coming up, the Nintendo Switch 2, pre-orders are delayed because of tariffs.
Really?
Conversations and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local
Something a lot of people, including myself, are excited for. Well, we'll see. Maybe it'll cost twice as much as it's supposed to, in which case I will not be buying it.
High temperatures will scrape the low 50s, and by tomorrow, the sun will shine.
TJ, if you're watching, wants us to bring back the three-way blender.
Yes, I saw that. I texted him back, and I said, believe me, we want to bring it back, too.
Currently, it's 48.
This is Chad Spade for Chad's Design Build. We're proud to employ some of the best carpenters and remodeling professionals in our industry. Are you honest and hardworking? Do you love to improve people's lives by improving their homes? Chad's Design Build offers excellent compensation and benefits focused on outstanding customer service, professional design, construction management, and craftsmanship, all in a nurturing, positive workplace. Whether you're thinking about remodeling your home or considering joining our team, go to chadsdesignbuild.com to learn more.
Reviewing the week's legal news with a friend of the court.
Well, I'm looking forward to Saturday morning. I haven't missed one. Outstanding, just like being in school.
It has been a week in the areas of law and government and the aspiration for justice in America. As always, I am delighted. I am honored that you have chosen to spend some of
30
your
seconds.
weekend
Thank you.
time.
Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Albaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Albaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Albaugh, along with the fantastic producer, Mr. Aaron Zommers, on the board. It is 6 past the hour of 1 o'clock. Welcome into hour number 2 of the big program on Friday, TGIF, April 4th, 2025. Glad to have you along. Again, many thanks to Kelly Call and Sean Hanish from the great new film, Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, which will be shown tonight as a part of the Wisconsin Film Festival, which incidentally is going on from now through April 10th around the Madison area. Some wonderful, wonderful films. Of course, we talked to John Roach earlier in the week, and his great new film be a part of this as well on Sunday. And then Sean and Kelly, their film as well being held tonight in Madison. Rush tickets are available for Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 82 Brewers tonight. That basically means, from our understanding, that they're going to wait and see if there are seats that nobody showed up, and then they'll sell those. So it's kind of, you have to be there in person. So if you're in the Madison area and you don't mind that, come on down tonight. Be there by 5:30 tonight at Music Hall on campus. Otherwise, you can wait until a week from tonight and see Just a Bit Outside on the streaming service Roku for free. How about that? That doesn't happen very often, Zommers.
No, it does not.
So
Really,
really,
just keep an eye. Make sure you got the Roku channel ready.
Yeah.
My TV is a Roku TV. It has it built in, so I don't have to worry about that.
You're all
But
set to
otherwise,
go.
you can download it ahead of time, get it ready to go.
ready, set, go there. That's fantastic. And again, the Wisconsin Film Festival has a lot of great independent films at it. You should check it out. If you haven't got anything else to do this weekend, or make time to actually do something this weekend, it's wifilmfest.org. wifilmfest.org. And you can find the entire list of films coming up this weekend and into next week. So,
Who knows? You might run into Todd. You might run into me. You might run into Pete Schwaba, host of Nightlight.
yes, Pete Schwab.
A lot of people.
Yeah, all kinds of great people. And Sean and Kelly, I forgot to bring this up. I think they're going to do a question and answer session tonight.
That is my understanding.
Yeah, after the film as well. All right, sounds good. 8 minutes past the hour of 1 o'clock. Time once again, the final day in this rendition of Break into Spring Text to Win contest. Here we go.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way.
Time once again for Break into Spring Text to Win contest here at Civic Media. The final day of this contest, the final day for you to win this hour on our show, and up for grabs this today. And I think I may have in my socials misspoke, because I think in the socials last night, I was a little tired after a long day. And I only had one adult beverage because I had to drive, and so I had one beer early at the game last night, and then I switched over to custard. I had custard.
Ooh.
Yeah. So anyway, I was a little tired. I think I said we were giving away Brewer tickets today. That wasn't our. We will in the future, but not today. What's up for grabs? Equally as fantastic, though, an overnight getaway at the Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells. And Zommers and I have been there. It's great indoor water park, outdoor water park, zip lining, a great golf course, a good time had by all, as my former teacher, Ken Lewis, is fond of saying. So that's up for grabs this hour. Then everybody gets put in for the big grand prize drawing. The computer will randomly select someone after today, at the end of today, and that person will win a Verlo mattress set. Here's the whole. This is not like a small deal, by the way. It's one queen plush mattress, a set of bamboo sheets, choice of color, a Slumberland mattress protector, and 2 queen Rise cloud pillows. But Rise is spelled R-I-Z-E, so are they Riz?
I don't know. These pillows probably have some Riz, I guess.
The pillows have some. They're Rizzy. The pillows are Rizzy. Anyway, that's the grand prize from Verlo Mattress, and that's fantastic. We appreciate them. So that's what's up for grabs. All you have to do right now is download the Civic Media app. If you don't have it, go to your app store, Apple or Android device. Type in CIVIC Civic Media. It'll pop up. Download it for free. Takes less than a minute to download. It's free. It's what CBS's Gail King calls a deal. You open it up, go to your favorite station, one of the first 11 of the lower right-hand corner. After you open that up, it says text, T-E-X-T, text, a little bubble. Click on that. And then I'm going to give you a word right now. Text this word right now on the Civic Media app. The word this hour is seed. Seed. When you plant something, you use a seed. S-E-E-D. S, E is an Edward, E is an Edward, D is an David. S-E-E-D. That seems like a goofy word, Sommers.
You'd think it would be plural,
Seed?
but it's not.
No, just seed. One seed.
You got to hope this one takes. It germinates. Jeff Perry on Facebook.
Yes,
asks,
Jeff, let me have, please, Jeff, this is fantastic. Our ongoing contributor and friend Jeff Perry asks, Todd, is this a local contest? Thank you, Jeff Perry, so very much for asking. Because as it turns out, the lawyers on the 12th floor just sent down a text, and they tell us now that this indeed is a statewide contest. A statewide contest.
That's the best part.
This is the best part. Text the word seed. S-E-E-D. As a gay man, Todd will not be spreading his seed. S-E-E-D. I just think it's a goofy word. S-E-E-D.
But it's the last one.
I think it's rigged. I think it's rigged.
The second last one. It's the last one for us.
Here's the deal on this. That in each one of these contests, there's been a little internal contest, and I don't start it. You understand? This is other people, but Jane McNair and Greg Bach on their show, McNair on Air, which precedes us every day, for now. And anyway, their show, they challenged me, and and we somehow have come out on top by the smallest of margins in each of these races. But I hear now we're down big. We're down big.
That's what I've heard as well.
Yeah. And so it's not looking good for Zommers and I. And now I'm being told by people on the 12th floor that if we lose this contest, our show is being banished to the afternoon Wendy Williams and Judge Judy time slot.
We're facing relegation.
Yes. And I'm not sure what this means. But Jane McNair sent a telegram. I didn't know they do that anymore. Jane sent a telegram to me, and it said you may want to practice the phrase, quote, "This is not your baby," unquote.
Maury?
Yes. Maury, yes, Maury Povich. Because the afternoon shows, that's the kind of stuff they do. They have paternal tests of DNA, and then they have a guy and a gal, and she says it's his baby, and the guy goes, "It ain't my baby. I don't even know you." And don't you tell me that. And then Maury does a DNA test, and they're sitting right there, and he opens it up very dramatically, and he looks at it, and he says, "This is not your baby.
You are not the father."
Yes, you are not the father, or you are the father. So anyway, I'm practicing because it doesn't look good. It's looking like Jane's going to beat me. But anyway, if you want to take pity on us and help, the important thing is here isn't me. It's you, the listener and home viewer. So text the word SEED, SEED, right now to the Civic Media app. SEED, SEED. Somebody this hour is going to win an overnight stay at the Chula Vista Resort.
Mark from Prairie du Sac texts in a pun. He said, Brad Schimmel conceded to Susan Crawford.
I like that. I like that. Conceded. But the word is not conceded. The word is
just
seed. Just seed. SEED. All right. Why do I feel this is not going well?
I don't know. Maybe it's because the other CBS mug broke. At least you've got a new one.
No, the new one is fine. I'm being very, very careful with it. All right, well, have some texts I will not read on the air, but they're very humorous nonetheless. I do appreciate them. What else have we got here, Zombers? Coming up a little bit later, we're going to have a board game of the week. That'll be exciting. We haven't done did we do it last week?
We didn't last week. I mean, there's been a lot going on.
There's been a lot going on. I want to give a shout out, a thank you to the Chancellor, Mark Money at UW Milwaukee, for having us down there yesterday. That was a lot of fun.
That was a great show, yeah.
Yeah, it really, and a special thanks to Carrie Anderson Pink, who put that entire show together. She was the one that got lined up all the guests, who got us the venue.
Some great students.
Really some great students. Learned a lot about them and about the programs at UW Milwaukee. So thank you to them for hosting us yesterday. Really, really, really a great show. I want to do more of those as we travel around the state later on and finding out what makes Wisconsin great around the state of Wisconsin. We also have, as we said, a what's worse for you. We'll probably wait and come back with that. We're going to look at a little news this hour as well. Little thoughts on the new tariffs, by the way. Kate Arnoff wrote in the New Republic, quote, "The Trump administration isn't poised to review manufacturing so much as reward whatever companies' executives happen to cozy up to and fund Republican campaigns," unquote. Have you seen this? Trump put on these new tariffs, 35% some places, and now China's retaliating. By the way, the stock market not doing well.
In the toilet.
not doing well, as it turns out.
Dropping massively every day.
Yeah. So
since Tuesday.
So far the tariffs are not doing great. The Budget Lab predicts an average loss of $3,800 in purchasing power. That's in 2024 dollars per household. Per household this year. So think about that. Per household on average, the average household will have $3,800 less in purchasing power. That means $3,800 less per household to go to the local florist, the local bakery, the local bar, local grocery store, local auto mechanic.
Groceries. What an old-fashioned word.
As Trump likes to say.
It means multiple different things in a bag together. That's what he said.
Yeah, I know, exactly. We'll come back, talk about a little bit about these tariffs in the news, and also have a what's worse for you. Text the word SEED, SEED, right now to the Civic Media app hotline. In our break into spring text to win trivia. Come on back on the Almost Show.
Just a little horse snort at the end there.
That was fantastic.
I like omelets better than sex.
I should have used that during the segment.
That was fantastic.
Because we still haven't used it on air.
Yeah.
I mean, now we did in the stream, but.
Yes.
Tickets for $100 cash, and every entry gets you closer to the grand prize. A brand new Verlo Queen mattress set from Verlo of Madison, including a mattress, sheets, protector, and pillows. Download the Civic Media app from the App Store or Google Play Store. Choose your stations, then get set to text to win. It's time to break into spring with WMDX. The John and Gordy Show.
Let's go back to the phones. We've got Matt on the line.
Morning, guys. Thanks again for what you do in Civic Media. Wondering what you think about Elon Musk's recent comments about empathy being the weakness of the West. It's because we're too empathetic, you know? We actually care about people. I mean, what's wrong with us, right?
Yeah.
Weekday mornings 6 till 8 on 92.7 WMDX and the Civic Media app.
Teachers are dynamic leaders shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes
can't live together, you can't live alone. Considering the weather, oh my, how you've grown. From the men in the factories to the wild kangaroos, like those birds of a feather, they're gathering together and feeling exactly like you. They got mesmerized by lullabies and limbo danced in pairs. Please lock that door. It don't make much sense. That common sense don't make no sense no more.
Welcome back to the John Albaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio. I was waiting to hear what the line was going to be that brought it all together.
And there it was. It was a while away.
It was a while. It took a while. Who sings that?
John Prine. That's Common Sense by John Prine.
Yes, great. The great late John Prine. Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful artist. Ashamed I didn't recognize his voice, for goodness sake. Well, welcome back. We're talking a lot of common sense, and after the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk a little bit about Trump world and these tariffs.
The opposite, perhaps.
The opposite of making sense. Kind of crazy. I mean, it is self-destructive, and now the markets are not doing well. Prices going up, and all those. Todd was saying this months ago. Stock up on staples, toilet paper, this sort of thing.
Rice, beans.
Right, yeah. And now Mark Cuban is saying the same thing. So, I mean, don't go out and hoard. Don't make them rush like the pandemic, COVID.
But it's a good time to make sure you have some. You know,
because prices are going to go up. That's indisputable right now.
Buy toilet paper from Costco if you have a Costco membership. Don't fill your house with it, but buy your
Make
next
sure you got
block.
a few months, lined up, because prices are going to go up. There may be shortages as we go about this. So we shall see. We'll talk more about that at the bottom of the hour. Right now, 23 minutes past the hour, 1 o'clock time once again for What's Worse. Let's go.
This or that, this or that. Then of course the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that.
Time once again to play What's Worse. Unlike our text to win contest, no prizes involved with this part of it, but it is your chance to have your voice heard across Civic Media's 11 stations all across the state of Wisconsin. No better way to advertise than with Civic Media. Contact us at civicmedia.us and find out all the exciting ways you can get your voice heard across the state of Wisconsin. So, first of all, the text to win word this hour, seed. S-E-E-D. Seed. As in Chet's Feed and Seed. It's a great place in Michelin Center. Chet's Feed and Seed. But the word is seed. S-E-E-E-D. And if you text that in, somebody this hour is going to win a great overnight stay in the Chula Vista Resort up at Wisconsin Dells.
There's a good Simpsons joke about that. I believe
Really?
it's Chuck's Feed and Seed.
Really?
Which, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perry's really enjoying this show, by the way. This particular show.
I'm sure he is.
And so am I. Anyway, so now it's time to play What's Worse? Timely indeed, as Mike Lucas says, because what we're in a great lack of in this world is common sense, and particularly after election night. You know, you have a lot of expert opinion, quote unquote, around the dial. Well, this was all about Elon Musk. This was all about whatever. And we know we had Trygve Olsen on. He's an expert, I guess, as well.
And his expert opinion was, don't listen to the expert opinion.
Exactly.
To summarize it.
Yeah, that's very well said. So here now, today's What's Worse? What's worse, common sense or expert opinion? What's worse, common sense or expert opinion? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Give us a call. Give us a call. A holler. A collar. 855-752-4842, or text us as well. So now you got two things to text. You can text in SEED, S-E-E-D, and be eligible for an overnight stay at Chula Vista. And you can also text in and tell us what's worse, common sense or expert opinion. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. And Zombers, this one, I mean, I don't know. I think it's self-explanatory, but what's your take on it?
I think that most people will probably agree that expert opinion is worse because the farther up these corporate minds and consultants get from reality, it's like if at corporations, like big ones, you know, retail stores or something, sometimes they'll take certain products off the shelves that don't make sense to get rid of, or they'll make decisions about how often you're working and how long that just don't make sense if you're actually in the store.
And to your point, oftentimes people who claim that they're experts really aren't. In name only, right? In name only. 855-752-4842. By the way, this just in, a clarification on the Wisconsin Film Festival tonight. Sean Hanish just texted me, our great guest from one of our great guests from last hour. And Sean said the rush tickets are available tonight for just a bit outside, but that means people who show up at the theater will be offered available seats on a first-come, first-served basis.
So it's exactly what we thought.
Yeah.
People who don't show up like 10 minutes before the screening,
right?
Those seats will be given to people who are waiting.
Well,
so
if you have to buy a ticket, you don't get it for free.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So again, don't drive 2 or 3 hours for it. But if you're in Madison, it's worth a shot.
If you want to come to Madison. So if there are empty seats tonight at the Music Hall at UW campus at 5:30, there will be rush tickets sold at that time on a first-come, first-served basis. All right, let's go to the phone lines. 855-752-4842. Ollie up in the North Woods. Ollie, common sense or expert opinion? What's worse?
Well, I think what's worse is expert opinion, because most people who have an opinion think they're experts about everything.
I think that's well
that's
said.
the way I feel.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you, Ollie. I appreciate the call. Thank you so very much. Yeah. Jeff Perry, watcher on Facebook, says, my expert opinion, opinions are worse.
We also have a few texts from, let's see, Nancy in Madison, Kimberly, and Ann in Chippewa Falls, all saying, yep, expert opinions are worse.
Yeah, it's and then some people like a doctor, for instance. Now that's a real expert.
That's different.
That's
Then
different.
expert opinions are important.
Yeah. All right, text the word SEED, S-E-E-D, right now, S-E-E-D right now. Otherwise, we'll see you alongside Judge Judy later this month. Come on back. It's the Town Hall Ball Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
That common sense don't make no sense no more.
Listen, Real news and great conversation.
I probably should have started the song a little closer to that part, but
You can always continue the
it's a good tune.
It is a good tune. It is a good tune.
Gotta love some John Prine.
Absolutely.
Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
Matt in Richland Center says, "Is Chet's Feed and Seed a place in Richland Center you feel safe to going after dark?"
100%. Thank you for asking, Matt.
Just because he thought it was hilarious when you said there were places in Richland Center you wouldn't go after 2 a.m. yesterday.
I guess here's a place I would not go after 2 a.m. in Richland Center. Underneath the bridge at Crosscut Park at the Pine River. I would not go there after 2 a.m.
Conservative Justice Annette Ziegler had the title, but her term has ended. In an election yesterday, the justices elected their
Megan in
colleague,
Sun
liberal
Prairie
Ann
has
Walsh
a good
Bradley.
text that we
The
can
woman
share
served
on
for
the other
2
side.
months
All right,
before she
very good.
retires in July.
Does either option actually exist?
Susan Crawford was on the bench, but they've already chosen the next Chief Justice, too. Jill Karofsky will hold the title after Walsh Bradley's retirement.
What song is that? Sounds
Karofsky
very
spent her
familiar.
career in
It's a
Dane
song
County,
I can't
largely
find
working
that
as a
Perry
prosecutor
has
for the
on a
county, then the state of
VHS
Wisconsin,
tape
and has
somewhere in his
specialized in
attic.
serving
Oh.
It's what
programs to
I
support
guess
survivors
it's an
of
original
abuse.
ditty that Paul
Karofsky
Schaefer
will
wrote.
serve as the state's
So,
Chief
like when
Justice until
Letterman would
April
present people like with
And
flowers,
Paul Sandman
or
drove
they
his
used to do a
cyber
thing
truck
with
onto
Rupert
UW
G and the
Madison
Hello
Memorial
Deli,
Hall.
and
Happened
at the
Tuesday
end,
night as
these
folks were
two
voting
foxy
polling
ladies would come out with
locations
like
on
meat.
campus.
And
Oh, right,
and,
right,
and,
okay.
and Paul was like da 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 da.
I've seen some of
da
those
da da
bits.
da 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 da
Police had contact
da
with
da
her
da
connected
da da.
with UW-Madison. Meanwhile,
But I've looked
election
for it
officials in
online, and you
Milwaukee
cannot. I
apologized
can't
for
find it
running out of
online.
ballots.
So
Here's
I'm
4K
assuming
Live.
it's a very coveted trademark too.
We have a dissenting opinion.
Oh, very good. All right. I just sent you something, by the way, Ferris from Ferris Bueller that we'll use on
About tariffs? Yep, yep.
Waited for hours for ballots, and others left without casting a vote. Officials say they'll try to learn from the situation and adjust ballot estimates for future elections.
I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. It's week 14 at the box office, and the Minecraft movie is hitting the big screen. That's right, another video game turned movie. The family-friendly film stars Jack Black, Jason Momoa, and Emma Myers. The film has not yet been reviewed. If you're in the mood for a comedy that's not ridiculously silly, check out The Friend, starring Bill Murray and Naomi Watts. Watts plays a teacher, and Bill Murray, her mentor and deceased friend, who leaves her a giant Great Dane. The film is pulling in 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the word on the street is that the Great Dane is an incredible actor. And finally, a movie that sounds really interesting and stars pretty cool guys named Pedro Pascal and Ben Mendelsohn. Action comedy drama Freaky Tales is about a corrupt cop, an NBA star, a female rap duo, teenage punks, neo-Nazis, and a debt collector who are on a collision course in 1987 Oakland, California. I'm curious. The film is pulling a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, so let's go to the movies. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media.
Pardon me.
Enjoying this
Pardon me,
program?
Jerry.
Find the
I
complete
already did.
Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
Becoming cloudy today with light rain rolling in late this afternoon. High temperatures will scrape the low 50s.
I also sent you the
and
thing
by
for the,
tomorrow, the sun will shine.
Danish Prime
Fair
Minister.
It'll dominate the entire weekend, with highs tomorrow in the mid-40s and on Sunday pushing the mid-50s. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Currently, it's 48.
That one is 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, we won't take all of it if we use it. Because we'll start it and I'll tell you that.
Support our community. We judge people by
And
the
sorry, I'm
content of
sitting
their
here
character,
eating.
not by the color of their skin.
Sometimes
If
when I
you
have
will-
caffeine and don't eat food with it, I start feeling lightheaded and nauseous. I wouldn't have thought that that one can of soda would do that to me, but it did.
We believe every person must have the opportunity.
We don't want
to
Zommers
thrive.
passing
If you're
out in the
thinking
middle
about
of the show,
remodeling
for
your
goodness
home,
sake.
go to
That would not be ideal.
chadsdesignbuild.com to learn more about our commitments to you, your home, and our community.
You know Ignite Glass and Gifts 3 locations in Madison, but you can also shop IgniteGlassandGifts.com. You'll find grinders, lighters, collectibles, hand-blown glass water pipes, artistically designed jewelry, and plenty of other items delivered straight to your door or to family and friends. Madison's favorite for glass, gifts, and vape. Ignite Glass and Gifts.
fun doing it. Welcome back to the Town Hall Ball Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 34 minutes now past the hour of 1 o'clock on Tuesday. Why did I say Tuesday?
Yeah. It is not Tuesday.
I was going to say TGIF. Both start with T, I guess. Friday, April 4th, 2025. Glad to have you along with Zommers on the board. We're right in the middle of a couple of things. First, your opportunity to win an overnight stay at Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells. Somebody this hour is going to win. It might as well be you. All you have to do is download the Civic Media app, open it up, go over to the little icon. First of all, choose a station, one of the first 11. Open it up, lower right-hand corner, hit text, and then text the word SEED. The magic word this hour, believe it or not, is SEED. S-E-E-D. SEED. All right. And if you're randomly chosen, you're on your way to the Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells. Also asking you, what's worse, common sense or expert opinion? Common sense or expert opinion? What's worse? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. 4842. Zommers, you said you had a couple of texts on this.
Yes, a few people texted in over the break, and we finally have some dissenting opinions, which is good.
Very good.
You got to hear the other side.
Yes.
Megan in Sun Prairie asks, does either option actually exist? Common sense is getting harder to find, but expert opinions aren't usually from experts, just Google addicts.
That's true. I'll go along with that. Who else? We have Jack in Merrimack says common sense is the worst. It flies in the face of facts way too often. The only people who really study something are only the ones or the first ones. Oh, Judas Priest.
Often the only people who really study something are okay, well, now I screwed it up too. Often only the people who really study something are the first ones who really know about a subject. Perhaps the best example is the decades that common sense denied global warming. Those of us who studied it knew it was reality since the 80s.
Thank you. I appreciate it. By the way, Jack, I was not saying Judas Priest to your text. It was just that the thing that we got the text on isn't working, so I got to do it on my phone, and then it skipped up. By the way, Jack in Merrimack, the Merrimack Ferry is now open for the season. That's fantastic. Speaking of things that are free, hop on up to Merrimack or catch it on the Dane County side, and you can go back and forth across the Wisconsin River now on the Merrimack Ferry. How about that? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Asking today's what's worse, common sense or expert opinion? For me, it comes down to who's giving the expert opinion. But we'll get to that in a second. 855-752-4842. Tom calling from WMDX in Madison. Tom, common sense or expert opinion?
Well, he actually had some other news he wanted to share.
Wow.
Oh, all right. Very good, Tom.
Oh, I'll do both. That's all right.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it needs to be a combination of both.
All right.
The idea of not listening. Oh, we're on or not?
Okay, yeah, you're on. I was saying, okay, that's fantastic.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I think it needs a combination of both. You have to have enough common sense to listen to an expert opinion. That's for sure. And the reason I called is I hope everybody's out on the hands-off protests that'll be taking part all over the country. I think there's 1,100 protests going on. And in Madison, the one starts at noon, and definitely be there. And heading over to Minocqua Brewing Company for the after party afterwards. And it's super important that people get out on the streets, especially now. As an artist and a performer, I just learned that all the humanities councils in America, I think there's 58 of them, are all getting defunded at the same time, I think as of April 2nd. And there are little towns that really, really survive on those when it comes to, the 4th of July celebration, the Civil War reenactment, the community college's theater program, or the elementary schools artists in residence. All of those entities depend on that money, and they're just killing it all across the board for with no rationale and no accountability.
Yeah. Thanks for the information, Tom. Really appreciate it. 855-752-4842. Gene in Eau Claire. Gene, you're calling in for what's worse or something else?
Something else.
All right. What do you got, Gene?
Very important. Today, the Senate, is convening, and Republicans are pushing for Trump's bill to go through, and it's very important that people call in and have their voice heard. What really sickens me is I remember Trump saying how much money he made during recessions, and when bad things happen to our country, how much money he made. People got to be aware because we don't want our farmers to lose their land. We want them to keep it, and we need to have our voices heard. I never seen anything like this, Todd, and you and I have been watching for years and years, but people's voice matters, so keep up the uproar. Thank you very much, and have a good weekend, and you guys do great work. Bye.
Thanks, Gene. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend up there in the beautiful Chippewa Valley. I heard Pat Kreitlow is having a bake sale this weekend. Is that true?
I don't know, but if he is, I want to go.
Which is different than Pat Kreitlow getting baked. That's two very different things.
Very different.
855
Both may involve the pontoon.
Yes. That's what we're going to do a show this year for the pontoon. 855-752-4842. I heard it's very nice in the afternoon. Whistler at WRCE in Richland Center. Whistler, I think you're calling in for what's worse. That's fantastic. Common sense or expert opinion? What's worse?
I think, again, there's someone earlier said, you got to have a balance.
Yeah.
But common sense makes the most sense, but then you invite other input.
Yeah. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Whistler. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Let's keep it in Madison. WMDX in Madison. Dick in Madison. What's worse, common sense or expert opinion?
The stock market today as opposed to yesterday. No, I think expert opinion.
That was good. I like that.
Well, yeah, it's down. It's only down 2,000 points.
Oh, only 2,000. All right, very good.
Yeah, well.
Did you hear, Dick? By the end of the year, a roll of toilet paper, $25.
Oh, that's cheap.
Right? Yeah.
Half the price. No, expert opinion because many times it comes from very opinionated people.
Yeah, out there, that's great. I like that a lot. Expert opinions that come from opinionated people. That's a great take on that, Dick. Very well done. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842 if you want to weigh in. My take on this, expert opinions generally are worse. Because common, and I mean, to some of the callers' points, I get it. Like, it depends on what your take is on common sense. But I think of my grandparents a lot. Things, just life experience, which gives you common sense. Like, I don't know, like don't pee against the wind. That's common sense. Or don't pee against a flat rock. That's common sense. Make hay while the sun shines. In other words, get your work done while you're able to. That's common sense, right, Summers?
Yeah, and I think generally just don't pee outside of toilets whenever possible.
Well, I don't agree with that. I was walking in the woods. You're
careful where you
picking
pee.
up
How about
rock. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not going all the way back to the house. I'm out in the field picking up rock. I mean, you just drink some water and you go over to a bush or something. I don't know. 855-752-4842. Mona, listening in Madison, MDX. Mona, common sense or expert opinion? What's worse?
What's worse is an expert opinion with no common sense.
That's great.
I'm serious. You get experts, I'm thinking of doctors, they're totally by the book, only by the book, and they don't take into consideration common sense.
That is the best answer so far, in my opinion, Mona. Well done. I agree. Right. Well done. 855-752-4842. Let's go up to Appleton. Cindy in Appleton. Cindy, common sense or expert opinion? What's worse?
Well, it depends on who it's coming from, I think, because an expert opinion from like a scientist or somebody like that is good. But common sense from a Trumper, is there such a thing?
Well, I don't want to get I guess it depends on what they're talking about. I mean, somebody might have voted for Trump but have good common sense when it comes to, I don't know, growing radishes. So I think it depends what
I don't know.
what their opinion is. But I appreciate it, Cindy. You have a great weekend up there in Appleton. 855-752-4842. Going to the old hometown, Richland Center, WRCE. Bev in Richland Center. Bev, common sense or expert opinion? What's worse?
Common sense is worse. But you know what's interesting is Tom Nichols has a book called The Death of Expertise.
Oh.
And I think that's the problem, that if you have real expertise, you need it. But we've got a whole lot of people who think they're experts when they're not. But common sense is worse.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Thank you. Great take, Bev. Appreciate it. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Just a couple more calls here, and then move on to a little news of the day. Speaking of a common sense take, how many of you guys watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off back in the day? As it turns out, people say, don't watch movies, don't watch television. It's going to rot your brain. I'm going to prove to you that watching movies will make you smarter in just a minute. 855-752-4842. David in Milwaukee, listening on WAUK. David, I have a question for you, first of all. Where are you at in Milwaukee? And A, do you listen to us actually on a radio, or B, on the app?
I listen to on the radio.
All right.
I am in Brookfield right now.
In Brookfield. All right. That's fantastic. I appreciate the info, David. All right, David, common sense or expert opinion? What's worse?
I think the common sense factor is worse because the experts have went to school, they've studied these things. But the real reason I wanted to express myself was the fact that no one is talking about, Trump is talking about putting America first, but yet he has not pulled any of his businesses or his daughter's businesses out of China. Shouldn't they be the first to lead by example?
I think that's a great point, David. Years ago, Letterman had Trump on and had like his Trump ties and everything. And Trump was going on about America first. And Letterman says, let's see here. Here's a Trump tie made in China. Made in China. So, yeah, great point.
Right.
Appreciate it, David. 855-752-4842. Eric in Madison on MDX. Eric, common sense or expert opinion? What's worse?
Well, I think it's situational, but if we've learned anything, it's that sense isn't common.
That's a great way to end it right there. Sense is not common. I appreciate that, Eric. That's a great call. Appreciate it. Well, there you go, Zombers. So lots of great takes on that one. Little thoughtfulness. That's fantastic. Do we have time to play the Ferris Bueller thing, or we got to do that when we come back?
We can do that.
All right. So here's the Ferris Bueller movie, Day Off movie, their take on tariffs.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the The Great Depression, passed the the tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which raised or lowered, raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression.
It did not work. That is real. That is not AI. That is actual. That scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That is the actual scene of Ben Stein, the actor, playing the teacher there, talking about the Smoot-Hawley Act, which is today applicable to exactly what Trump is doing with these tariffs.
Yeah, 100 years ago, that happened. 100 years before that, America tried to do tariffs, and it never works.
Yeah. But I thought that was fantastic, though. That's the actual scene or a couple of lines from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So when people say, well, you don't learn anything from movies, tell them that. Right there, you can learn about tariffs and the Smoot-Hawley Act. All right, we're going to come back, and Zommers is going to do a board game of the week for us here and round things out on a Friday. Glad you joined us here on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is the Todd Albo Show, and you're listening to the Civic Media Radio Network.
To the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government by and for the people. With a vote on the SAVE Act imminent in the U.S. House, secretaries of state, pro-voter groups, and election officials are voicing alarm at likely widespread disenfranchisement of eligible voters and an unfunded mandate by Congress. The Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act sponsor seeks to keep foreign nationals from voting in federal elections, already illegal, but without any evidence of widespread non-citizen voting in any state. It will, however, keep eligible Americans from voting. It mandates proof of citizenship to register or when updating records, but limits that proof to a birth certificate, U.S. passport, or naturalization papers. 9% of Americans don't have those documents readily available, and because they have to be presented in person, working Americans, seniors, and the disabled will all be impacted. Even with a birth certificate, 69 million married women change their name upon marriage, and 146 million Americans don't own a valid passport, according to the Center for American Progress. The group Declaration for American Democracy just submitted.
Welcome back to the Tyler Ball Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is 9 before the hour of 2 o'clock. At the top of the hour, ABC or CBS News, depending upon which of your great stations you're listening to across the Civic Media Radio Network. And then it is a sports update with our great sports reporter, Mike Clemens, as well as a weather update with our wonderful weather team. And then the Maggie Dawn Show, once again, for a Friday afternoon. Always informative. Maggie Dawn every afternoon from 2 until 4. Now, I oftentimes don't go to the meeting, Sommers, but I'm trusting my friend Jane Matnair because she's always timely and accurate. So I heard her say on her show today that today our friend Dom Salvia and the Dom Salvia Show at 4 o'clock, it is his last show here on the network. And this is apparently what he just has different opportunities, and he is going to take those. And so he and Jess, his great producer, this is their last show. And for my money, two finer people who work hard you cannot find. And I wish them all the best. And I thank them for everything they've done for this network and wish them well because they're wonderful people.
I very much appreciate having had the opportunity to work with them for as long as I have and get to know them because they're great people and they work hard, like you said.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and brought a lot to this network. So congratulations to Dom and to Jess on their fine program. Tune in today from 4 until 6 for their last show. And then after that, Pete Schwabe will be along with Nightlight. So another great afternoon lineup here on the Civic Media Radio Network. Right now it is coming up on 8 before the hour 6. Anyway, it's coming up close to 2 o'clock. Let's do this quick. It's another edition of Board Game of the Week. Let's go.
Board Game of the Week. This time, Todd, do you like a nice distilled spirit?
A nice distilled spirit? Well, yes, yes, bourbon, Aaron Zommers, I absolutely do.
Well, if you like a high quality liquor, you may enjoy this game called Distilled.
Distilled. Now here we're talking, Zommers.
So each player takes on the role of an heir to a distillery. And you can make, you might end up creating whiskey, rum, gin, tequila, all kinds of different alcohol from around the world. You get a distillery, and now it is upon you to manage the products that go into creating this liquor. So you got to get your suppliers in order. You got to figure out how long you're aging everything and try to make the most profitable distillery by the end of the game.
Is there actual liquor involved?
You have to provide your own. It's a BYOB situation.
But this was like cards or pieces or what?
A lot of cards, a lot of pieces. It's a relatively complicated board game because you're managing a distillery. So it's one.
Sounds like a night at a dance club. Lots of cards and lots of pieces. Lots of pieces. Yeah.
And So it'd be a good one to enjoy some sipping liquor. I would not say this is a game where you want to get trashed and then try to learn how to play it.
No.
But, if you're enjoying a nice bourbon or something, this could be a lot of fun.
Now, our friend Charles Franklin from the Marquette Law School poll.
That's where my thoughts went as well.
He is a person who is a connoisseur of fine liquors. I mean, he's not a guy who's going to just sit and get drunk. He's the kind of guy who really knows the intricate details of the processing and savors every sip of these. It might have the smallest little part in the glass and then just savor it.
Yes, the two people I thought of when I first discovered this game were Charles Franklin and then Noah Michael, somebody in the local Magic the Gathering scene in Madison who hosts a lot of game nights at his house and is a lover of bourbon and cigars and things like that. I feel like he would love this game. He probably already owns it.
Have you played this game before?
Not yet. I just found out about it earlier this week, and I really want to play it. It looks
so.
Like a lot of fun.
What's do we know yet? What the how do you quote unquote win distilled?
I mean, you have to manage your resources and make the best distillery. Like it's
it all comes down to the dollar sign, as Jack O'Neill.
It all comes down to the dollar sign.
So the person at the end, a little bit maybe like Monopoly. A boozy Monopoly. Is that what you're telling me, Zommers?
A little bit, I would say.
I like that.
It's 1 to 5 players, and I like the trend that a lot of games are starting to include up to 5 players. It's just you end up with these odd-sized groups often, or at least I do. It's nice to be able to include everybody.
Probably not the same group that you'd play Candyland with.
No. Definitely not.
It's an adult board game.
It is.
No one's disrobing, mind you, but it is an adult board game.
Not that kind of adult board game.
No, that's an entirely different kind of, Adam and Eve type of deal. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about distilled. How much is it, Summers?
It is a bit of a pricey one. It is $80, but it's
$80?
It's a hefty game. There's a lot of pieces.
I hope it is. Is it like a wood board or something? Does it come in a barrel?
No, it doesn't come in a barrel.
Wouldn't that be cool though? What if the board for the board game was built into the top of a former barrel that you distilled whiskey in?
That would be very cool. They do have some like premium pieces if you want to pay even more and get like metal pieces and stuff like that. Yeah.
$80 for distilled. But it's probably one of those games you're gonna buy and really take the afternoon to play.
Oh yeah, and play it multiple times.
All right. Well, the game is distilled. It's $80. There you go. There's your board game of the week. That was good. I mean, all your games are most of them are unique. I haven't heard of them before, but that one in particular, I just find very interesting because I do. Mom doesn't like it when I talk about it. She goes, people are going to think that you're really a drunk.
Robert and McFarland
I just joke around about it, but I like Charles Franklin. I enjoy a beverage and savor it. What are you going to say?
Robert and McFarland texted in. He found the game cheaper, actually.
Really?
Apparently on Amazon, it's $63 right now.
Oh, can't beat it with a stick. All right, great show today. Many thanks to Kelly Call and Sean Hanish. Their film, Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 82 Brewers, available on Roku for free starting a week from today. And also thank you to Aaron Zommers as well, and everybody who played along. Text the word SEED, S-E-E-D, right now. 2 minutes left to win an overnight stay at Chula Vista. Whatever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in, do not give up. Keep banging your drum. We'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, 80 is the MSRP. I always forget that Amazon sells things way cheaper. Anyway,
I haven't reached out to Pete Schwab.
I'm sure we'll have him on at least on Monday. He's going to be here, so we might as well.
I'm gonna say we are.
Sounds good. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.